Jaylen Brown came and spoke to Stephen A. Smith face to face after Stephen A. Smith was on the air and aired out a statement on ESPN First Take about unnamed sources saying negative things about Jaylen Brown. While he was up there with Jay Williams and Kendrick Perkins, he chimed in with that narrative saying, is Jaylen Brown the most underrated NBA star? This is in the middle of the NBA Finals. Well, not the NBA Finals, the Eastern Conference Finals. Right after they won Game 2 and Jaylen Brown scored 40 points. The third most points in a conference division finals game in Celtics history. Right? They won Game 2. They end up sweeping the Indiana Pacers. Now, Jaylen Brown was MVP of that series, and he was MVP of the NBA Finals. Now, as his star is rising, someone gives him a call, allegedly, or texts Stephen A. Smith, and decides to try to take down the character of Jaylen Brown. And Stephen A. Smith said, and he was defending Jaylen Brown, but you've also became the megaphone for people to spew their garbage against Jaylen Brown. Why would you want to be that vessel to say, I'm going to say that on the air? In the middle of a broadcast. Somebody just texts you anything, you just say it on the air? That's crazy. Most people say, okay, well, during our broadcast yesterday, I got a text. So then I contacted Jaylen Brown to get his rebuttal to it. And he had this to say. Then you could have did a better show the next day. You could have held it to the next day. But you really wanted to say that text live on this segment that you know you finna talk about it. All of a sudden, somebody was just watching the show and decided to text you this about Jaylen Brown, who you claim you're cool with and have a good relationship with, and you go on the air and do that and think you got yourself out of it by playing both sides of the fence saying, well, that's not how I feel. But this anonymous guy, the anonymous guy is going to get the spotlight. So now you wanted to, since Jaylen Brown is back, the Celtics are back, the season's getting ready to start, and you got a chance to sit down with Jaylen Brown to discuss all of the events of what happened. And he mentioned cowardly is what he felt that whole thing was about. It was done cowardly, and he didn't respect it. Now, I admire Jaylen Brown for what he's doing, Black Wall Street and everything that he's putting in motion. But to see how this played out, I wouldn't have done this interview with Stephen A. Smith. Not like this. And the reason why I would say that is clear. And we're going to get into that in one moment. Hit the like button, subscribe to the page, hit that notification bell, y'all. We'll be back after the intro. Hi, I'm Carcino. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Now, with these two brothers doing what they do, it was kind of weird to me to see Jaylen Brown on here. I was, what? Jaylen Brown and Stephen A. finna have a talk. And I'm cool with brothers coming together to, to put together any type of friction they might have with something or act that people did. That's not the problem. I would have not interviewed with Stephen A. Smith if we weren't going to do this on ESPN First Take. If it's not on the platform that denigrated me on in front of millions of people, don't take me on the Stephen A. Smith show. Don't take me to the side show. Take me to the same platform you denigrated me on by saying that egregious statement that could affect millions and millions of dollars coming in my pocket and putting down other athletes. But you know why you're not putting him on First Take? It's because you can't put him on First Take. You don't want him to come on First Take and do this show. The studio don't want this conversation to go down on First Take. They don't want it. You know why they don't want this to go down on First Take? Because they don't know what he's going to say. And some of them sources probably work at ESPN. Now, NBA on ESPN decided to pick up on the clip. This is not an NBA on ESPN clip. Like, this is not NBA on ESPN. This is not even ESPN. This is the Stephen A. Smith show. That's on the internet. Now, everybody who see this can see one or two things. And it was quite evident. Stephen A. Smith wants to show, hey, I'm still cool with you. You my brother and all of this. But to me, you're not going to say somebody is on this level or that level without it being some type of discord or disdain. I'm serious. These people cannot sit there and hold. I could sit there and talk about it, and he wanted to air out how he felt, and that's cool. That's fine. It's gonna go viral, but it's not gonna reach the millions of people because Stephen A. Smith is not that big on his own. So it's not gonna reach the millions of people it need to reach. He didn't use the worldwide sports platform. Most of them on ESPN is not going to even know this happened or took place that was watching the First Take show. All he's going to know is one or two things. He got an interview to help boost up his platform. And at the same time, ESPN can bear no responsibility for anything said because it's not on their platform. That's the only drawback I have. Now, NBA on ESPN, no, that's not going to cut it for me. That's me. Now, Jaylen Brown, that's just the thing. He can do what he wants to do. I'm saying for me, that's not going to cut it for me. If I'm on your show and you choose to do something like that and denigrate me on that platform, don't call me to say I'm sorry. Don't say I'm gonna do my show and you can help me get my numbers up. No. I'm not gonna help you do it. We're gonna do this on First Take, live. Like you did, just denigrated me live. Let's do it on your show. Let me boost your First Take numbers. But we all know what happened there, right? We all know why it didn't take place. There's no mystery. There's no coinky dink. We know why it didn't take place. So it's not like there's a real big sticking point here. Like someone driving the knife home. We know what it's about. We know what was said live on the air.
It's not so much that he's underrated. It's that he's just not liked because of his quote, "I am better than you" attitude. He knows it. It's the same reason he is not as marketable as he should be. That's what an NBA source just sent me. I don't know that to be the case. I like Jaylen Brown. I know a lot of people that like Jaylen Brown.
And I know you see the shirt.
That's right. State your source. State your source.
Yes.
Oh, we're gonna get into all of that.
For sure.
No question.
And honestly, I wore this shirt because like this is where I wanted to start the conversation.
Okay.
Get into it. And to be honest, you know,
pull the mic closer to you, so I want to make sure the audience hears you. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I think it's deeper than rap.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's bigger than both you and I. Like obviously your credentials are through the roof, you know, covering AI to First Take being the #1 show and now taking the world by storm with your new podcast. So I wore this shirt, but I honestly, I know just because of your credentials that you're never going to reveal your sources because.
Now, here's the thing. Stephen A is not going to reveal any sources until he feels that source can no longer give him information. Because he did reveal that Larry Brown was one of the guys who was feeding him information before. So it's no surprise to what he's doing. These people know one thing and one thing only. And how to play the game. That's it. They know how to play the game. Yeah, so if you know how to play the game, what you're doing is absolutely absurd. If you know how to play the game. See, the problem is this. When you sign yourself or align yourself with certain personalities, that's what you're going to get. You know, you're going to get unsavory people in everything, and that just means you're doing something successful. Now, I'm better than everybody type of ordeal. It's like, for what? It don't even make sense. So when you start seeing people come out of nowhere, right, and they start making their observations or giving their thoughts, I'm cool with y'all getting it up, chopping it up. He won't even do that part with Kwame Brown. He won't bring Kwame Brown on his Stephen A. Smith show. That is never the case. Mm-hmm. You know what I think? No. See, grown men can do what grown men want to do. That's not the problem. When a grown man makes actions that's going on, right? And a grown man do the things that he does out here, no, I feel that no, hear me out. I feel that what people do and what they say are entirely different. So I feel like when he addressed that it was cowardly and he wanted to come forward and fully address the situation, I would have said, let's do it on first take. Why are we doing this here? Because obviously, ESPN on NBA on ESPN picking it up. That clip is only going to go to some of the NBA fans. Okay, that's only on the internet. Okay, that wasn't done on national television or on cable television, where there's millions of subscribers. Why couldn't he put you on the same platform he denigrated you on? That's what I want to know. Now they're gonna play this clip on first take, then okay, I'm cool with it. But don't edit nothing. Play it out in its entirety. Play it out when I address this person who tried to assassinate my character. That's what I want. Because personally, I'm not gonna do this. I would have went on another platform that was on cable. I'd have been on ESPN, and I would have aired out my grievances with them. But since they used he used the same megaphone that they used, which is cool because they were supposed to be friends, like off out there, like I'm your boy, right? Right. So we on a let's face it situation. When you're on a let's face it, it's like this. This man has denigrated you and made up all of these things about your character and who you are as a man. And Stephen A was his megaphone. And what he's saying is, don't shoot the messenger. Okay. Why did they feel comfortable with you being the messenger? Now, no. See, the problem is there's so many misfits that's in the situation altogether. There's so many misfits that are stuck in here. No. You know how many people, if you were successful in the NBA, you know how many people that's hating on you? Almost half the players. They want you to shine. It's your teammates. They mad you getting shine, you getting deals that they want. You're the vice president of basketball operations. So this has become a narrative that other people have to learn to understand. It's like when you see certain aspects of what's going on, the whole world is here. All these other people are there to try to, right, they're trying to take advantage. You have to learn and know that there's a group of people who are going to be what we call detractors. They're going to show up, and what's going to actually happen is going to be entirely different from what's presented. They're going to tell a reporter something that's totally different from your character. It's nothing like being at work with somebody and they create a narrative that don't exist about you. It happens.
Wasn't holding
Right.
you accountable for anything that you said.
Right.
It was that your platform is so large. You have the #1 platform in the world. First Take, your podcast now. What I was asking is a dissension, but what you report on and also how you carry yourself as an individual and as a man. Like, how do you differentiate the two? But to be honest, I'm gonna come clean.
Sure.
Like, I wanted to have this conversation, but honestly, I couldn't wait to address this unnamed source.
Right.
I know they probably will be watching this because people like that are always watching. And I want.
Now, when he said I couldn't wait to address this unnamed source. I couldn't wait. You know why he said he couldn't wait? Because he wanted to do it, but they were in the middle of going for an NBA championship. And to have this type of distraction happen while he's trying to win an NBA championship is disgusting and wrong. That's probably my cousin. Now, when you talk about being disgusting and wrong, this is the narrative that we talk about a lot. I had a girl that I didn't work with. Her friend worked with me. And the fact that her friend worked with me and I was cool with her friend, she thought it was a narrative that her friend could hook us up. She wanted to date me or whatever. And she was like, I like him, invite him here, invite him to this thing. So I would go up showing up with the friend to some place, and then she would just pop in. And then that person would talk, and I'll be like, okay, listen to what they say. And I go, okay, all right. And then I end up leaving. But I wasn't interested in her. She never said anything about, I want to, let's sit down, let's try to build. None of this was discussed. Now, here's the thing. None of it was discussed about us dating or hooking up. What a narrative. Now, what I'm saying is this. I'm seeing a narrative that didn't make any sense because I didn't want to talk to this person or take it further or didn't give her the reaction she wanted. She said, oh, he's an uppity ass nigga. She told everybody this. She barely knows anything about me. She know I worked with this guy that she knew. Right? So because I worked with her friend and she asked him to hook me up and all that, he never told me anything that she said. He never said, hey, he just said, hey, we're going to be at such and such. You should come. And then all he was doing was creating the atmosphere for her to show up. Then she started talking about me like she's been knowing me for years. She knows nothing about me. Only thing she knows is what he could tell her because I don't tell her nothing about myself. The probably 2 times we ever met and had a conversation, it was just her rambling about what she do. And she said, oh, well, I went shopping, I went in this. It's like, we don't care. I'm just like, yeah. And I'm like, why would I be sitting back telling you about me? I'm not trying to build with you. I'm sitting here with a drink in my hand. I was in the middle of a conversation. You just butt on in. And then you just start talking and rambling about what you're doing and this party's lame and this and that. And what do you think about this party? And I think it's kind of lame. I'm like, okay, well, you're going to answer it for me. Go on right ahead. But at the end of the day, she's rambling and talking about me to anybody that would know me. And she only knows one person that knows me because he works with me and she does not. So because I didn't want to talk to her or date her, she's spewing all these things about me. Lies. I'm arrogant. I'm stuck up. Uppity was the word she used. And I don't know any of this is going on because I don't know anybody she talks to except for the person that I work with. And then he comes and tells me everything. All of a sudden, he just tells me all of this has been going on. But why did he decide to do that when it's been going on for so long and I've been seeing him every day at work? Why did he decide today's going to be that day? Because something happened that he didn't like. So he was like, I'm going to hold this to throw against you. And I'm like, what does it do? Because first of all, you barely know me. You know me at work, so you know the work me. The only time we hung out is when you invited me to someplace. I've never said, hey, dude, come on out. You finna hang out with us. But one thing happened at the job, and he felt it was you. He insinuated and assumed I'm the one that would do something to him. Like I'm jealous and wanted to rat to the boss about anything he was doing, which wasn't the case. But why would you assume it was me? Because his inner hate was starting to show. He despised. He despised me. I was in a higher position at the job than him because he wasn't capable. He didn't take the job seriously anyway. So the job knows who works and who don't. They can see the production in people. They know who's easily distracted and sitting there talking to people that instead of doing the job. They know that. So the majority of our conversations begin and end at the job. But I've never invited him anywhere. He don't know any of my friends. But yet and still, soon as he wanted to have that confrontation or say something, that's why that girl said, you're uppity. Yeah, she's been telling everybody about you. Yeah, that girl, we bet. Yeah, that girl, I don't know her. That's your friend. Well, I'm just telling you, that's what they saying. That's the word on the streets. Whose streets? Not my streets. You see, this is the narrative that's going on here with Stephen A. Stephen A said that because he does have some resentment towards Jaylen Brown somewhere. He does. Probably not personally. He probably don't like him because he's a Celtic. But he likes mess. He likes this trash. He loves to be the one to say, oh, I got some tea. So he can throw it up in everybody's face. He loves that. Well, the situation is leaning in another direction, meaning that it's not accurate. The words that they're putting out on the streets is very inaccurate. You can't say one thing and then change it to another and say, hey, that just came from them. Don't blame me. I'm just a messenger. Now, he's never shown any resistance or to Jaylen Brown, and they don't probably hang out as much. But it's always been a respect thing. But you never know what other people are harbors against you. They might have something in the way they move and operate that don't sit well with you. I see it all the time. I know when people are not being genuine. I know when they phony. And sometimes people just want something from you so bad. This is one of them cases. They want something from them so bad. Oh, I can't wait. For what? What can't you wait for? $1990s. The internet wasn't prominent like this. Guys had to go on the same platform and had to go on national TV. And the most they would do is say, well, we'll put you on the radio to address it. And guys had to go to a radio station, but they couldn't get to the same platform they got denigrated on. So Jaylen Brown went on Stephen A. Smith's personal show to address this situation, and I felt he should not have.
Wanted to let them know that I had a great summer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just as simple as that. Like, I traveled the world. I went to Umrah. I won 2 MVPs. I, launched Black Wall Street in Oakland, and made a music video. I had a blast.
Right.
So I wanted to let them know that I had a great summer. I really wanted to address them directly, but I feel like since this all kind of happened on your platform, I want to send a message to you, to them.
Right.
Because you only the person that knows who the source is. And I basically wanted to say to them that I think it's cowardice. I think historically unnamed sources have attacked some of our greats. And we are not responsible for what they lack in design. Frankly, they can call all their buddies, they pals and friends from all over the world, all the unnamed sources, and they can shove it where they got it from. Whether they think I'm marketable or not, I walk with God. I'm gonna be me and stand with my community in this life and the next, and that's my journalistic integrity.
Okay.
Now, that's his journalistic integrity, and he let that be known. Now, I don't have a problem with that part or nothing he said at all. And the fact that he's saying it to Stephen A. Smith, not a problem. And he wants to use that to blow his show up, fine, but he wanted to get that off his chest and say it to the man's face. That's fine. I just wanted it to be on First Take. What's so wrong about Jaylen Brown saying this on ESPN First Take? Any topic that you got to talk about, ain't nothing that you got that's groundbreaking. So you might as well scrap it all. Everything you got that you're about to say, scrap it all. And let this whole thing be the Jaylen Brown interview. I swear to God, if Michael Jordan came up there on the set, they wouldn't have said a word. Yeah, she is nice. None of them. These people don't sound off correctly about anything. That's why. They never point out any factors that may or may not, transpire with anything that is said prior or currently. You see? He wanted to wave his success in their face. Like, I had a successful summer. I had a great summer. So keep hating. And I'm going to say it back through you to them. I just wish it was on ESPN First Take. And I would tell him, I would say, Stephen A., play this on First Take. That's what I want you to do, is to play this on First Take. Now, from that perspective, why would anyone, and I mean anyone, see this other than, somebody who's trying to get to a certain plateau, right? And they're using weird tactics to get there. Mm. Oh, I was very adamant about the situations.
Go
ahead.
I wanted to get that off my chest.
Sure.
And now we can start the interview.
You can get it all off your chest. I'm not going away because I got to tell you something.
What you mean you're not going away? Oh, now we get it. Oh, you can get it off your chest because I'm not going away. What you mean you're not going away? This got nothing to do with you, right? He's speaking directly to whoever your source is. So now you finna take the position. That's why I told you the story about what happened when the guy from the job. Now you gonna take the position of defending the source and saying, "Oh, I took up for you." Why would you feel a need to have to take up for me in a situation that don't even concern me? Well, why would you feel you saying you did, but from the looks of it, you gonna say one thing on the air, then go behind the scenes and get with that person and be like, yeah, I see what you're talking about. I've seen a lot of these people, and I know they're not real friends. They're not real people. They're not people you can entrust with certain information. It's like, dude, you from work. You begged me to show up at some event y'all had, and then this chick is there. You wanted me to go to the company thing that they had. I showed up there. I've seen you. I've been to 2 events you was at that you've invited me to go to. I never went anywhere. Said, hey, dude, come on. We're going to meet at the sports bar. Why don't you come hang out with my boys? No. And this is why. Because see, you got to understand and know how people are. When I meet a girl, I'm not trying to have 15,000 people in my business. I don't want her friends in my business. That's how problems happen. 90 times out of 10, other people being in the relationship messes it up. They got all the information about what y'all doing, and they living through y'all life instead of living their life. So for this man, Stephen A. Smith, to say, oh, I ain't going nowhere. The hell you mean you ain't going nowhere? When this was about you. Oh, so now you saying it's about you.
I don't understand why somebody's saying what others may feel about you to hold you back, and they know that you've done nothing to deserve it. I don't understand how that's cowardice for them to talk about what somebody else is feeling. Like, for example, I'm looking at you and I think about Bill Russell, how principled he was. I think about Muhammad Ali, how principled he was. I think about Kurt Flood, who was the father, of free agency. When you think about what he did in Major League Baseball, I think about Jackie Robinson integrating the sport of baseball. I think about so many highly educated, highly accomplished, highly principled individual. The word likability is not something that you would attach to them when it came to Madison Avenue and marketability and promotion. So somebody saying this guy is not liked because of that reason, that's not them insulting you. That's not them calling you out. It's them saying the world that we're living in, you're not somebody that's easy to control. You're somebody, you stand on your own and you're your own man.
For sure.
What's the problem with that?
That's not what the man was saying. And this is why I probably would have slapped you right on the set. And this is why I couldn't probably sit down with him. And I'll be like that. Now you're going to tell me what the source meant, what he was saying. When did he say, meaning the source, that was what he said? That was not what the source said. It wasn't how the source said it. It wasn't even in the right tone of how it was said to the source. Oh, no. No way, good people. That is not how it was mentioned. You see, the way it was mentioned was not like how Stephen A. Smith saying. He's trying to say, oh, what he's saying is just stand on your own. And you're this and you're independent and all that. How are you speaking from the source when all he sent you was a text message? According to you, all that man did was send a text message. Now, instead of saying, okay, all right, I'm gonna let you say your piece, you got all this pushback saying what's wrong with what he's saying. You up here arguing for the anonymous source. How are you going to argue for the anonymous source? His comment started and ended, what did he text you? According to you. So now you're going to play devil's advocate for the anonymous source. Wow. Yeah, you're really my friend. You're really part of my movement. Unbelievable. Let's listen to this.
It's a balance because it's one, you can critique someone's performance.
Okay.
But then also if you're attacking their character. Like they didn't just say that I wasn't liked. They said I wasn't marketable. They said I was arrogant. I carried myself with a certain demeanor. Mm-hmm. And that line gets crossed between critiquing someone's performance, mm-hmm. not liking them for whatever reason, mm-hmm. and then attacking someone's character. I think journalistic integrity requires it to go both ways. Mm-hmm. I never had a chance to respond or defend myself. One, because they're never going to reveal themselves. Right. And two, the damage is already done. So what I'm speaking to is the unnamed sources. Mm-hmm. Like if you speak on it and you say something because we have a relationship,
Right.
at least I can look at you and we can go back and forth about what it is that we believe or what it is that we don't believe. An unnamed source, like what is that? You know, and
exactly. The damage is already done because you've already put that out there in the world. Now people are going to insinuate, people in business are going to insinuate, hey, there's something about this guy we don't know. Why do they feel he's arrogant and he's not marketable? See, that's damaging to someone's financial career. It's slanderous, and to be unnamed in something that could cost someone millions of dollars is reckless journalism when you do that and don't mention a source. Reckless journalism. And you're seeing that a lot more from people that used to be journalists. From Shitlock to all of them. These guys know better and most than all what's going on out here in these streets. Seriously, they lie to y'all so much. It's like, it's almost second nature to them to just lie. How you gonna play devil's advocate for the damn anonymous source? That's the biggest thing I've seen so far. You gonna tell us what the anonymous source meant? I don't see the problem. Like, what's the problem with that? I'm like, you needed him to explain to you how this hurts his possibilities of sponsorships, future dealings down the road, everything. He's not marketable. That is a hell of an insinuation from somebody you said an NBA source. If I was to go out into the world and tell somebody this dude is lazy, he can't work, he can't do this. And then these people are bosses who employ people. And then you go in there and they say, hey, man, well, I don't know. I heard he's lazy. In their mind, they're going to be thinking, this guy's lazy. I heard he's lazy. So they're not expecting to see any greatness from you. They're expecting laziness because that's the report that was put out there. Because in their mind, why would anybody put this out if it wasn't true? Why would they want to destroy you? Right? So to speak for the anonymous source and just be the megaphone continuously shows you what he is.
And to be honest, it reminds me, I think it has familiarity with when I was entering the draft.
2016 third overall pick.
What was said? Do you remember?
I do not. I'm sorry.
When I got drafted, they said that I was too smart. A source, an unnamed source,
Okay.
said that I was too smart to be a basketball player or something like that, and that would hurt my draft stock because it was a form of questioning authority. And this source, this unnamed source, who now have said
back in 2016.
Back in 2016, it was a very popular, subject at the time, and this source kind of reminds me of that as well, and I actually figured out who that source was.
Okay.
but I know because of your credentials, your background, your journalistic integrity, we never gonna figure out who that one is.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not. You're not. I'm not going to let that happen because I protect my sources. But I will tell you this. There's also a line that I wouldn't allow to be crossed. Like if somebody were to call up and to get into your personal business and try to attack you, I'd have never said anything like that. I'd never let something like that come out of my mouth over the airways or anything like that. But
of course not, because you can't. You can't come out and say, oh, anonymous source said he's got 2 babies on the way by 2 different baby mamas. Oh, no. You couldn't say that on ESPN. You know that. Don't act like you're doing him a favor. But you would say it on the Stephen A. Smith show on YouTube. Now, don't blur the lines. Don't blur the lines. Because you would say that on that show. Man. Come on now. I don't know what these people think, to be honest. I don't know what they thinking. Crossing me? That's how I would have been. I've been like, oh, you finna cross me? Say what? Crossing me? No way. Let's get it. So we got to think before we act and start doing things and acting out. We got to move in different lights and different ways. You know what I mean? So let's get to it. It's your boy Carcino here saying thank you guys for super chats, the cash apps. Somebody left me a cash app saying I want to talk more about S corps and businesses. For some reason, Patreon's doing like a update of the app, so it didn't process the video yet. Well, it's still like spinning. Oh, it's processing. We're updating our site. So yeah, the business video is still coming. It's already done. So if you're on my Patreon, I think it's Mr. Brown who left that cash app. That's your answer to your question. Go to the Patreon. That's where it's going to be. Now, the information further on about Stephen A. Smith, you know, that's just how he moves. It's how it is. It's how he operates. He's always been a shifty type of individual. Swaggered out, you know, the bottom feeder. When it's all said and done, I don't know, man, what he's gonna do. To be honest, I'm a bottom feeder. So the bottom feeder is already doing what a bottom feeder does. I'm a bottom feeder. That's him. He swagged out because he got the interview. But I know what you know, Stephen A. Your show ain't doing what you thought. Them numbers are looking funny in the light. Yes, they're looking mad funny in the light. And you're spending all that money on that production studio. Hopefully ESPN Plus comes in and buy you and do a deal with you and take your company with you so you can get saved relieved from spending your own money out your pocket. Because them YouTube dollars, yeah, you in a whole nother bracket now. You ain't packing them in like you used to, champ. You ain't packing them in. See, yeah, you got to work every day. Every day. Every day? Yeah, every day. And it's all over the place, buddy. And what you do? Spiraling. Shouts out to Kwame Brown, Bus Life, Ticket TV, Dreamers Pro, Damn D, POV. Who else out there? Welcome to HDII TV, Sports Talk with Jose Rodriguez. Join the Casino for Life Patreon, and you can support the page too by hitting up the Cash App. We out, sucker.